And welcome to my very special guest this morning, the wonderful, the fabulous, the inimitable, the what else can we call you? The fabulously talented Mark Shaw of the
Old.
Jericho. No, not old. We don't do old. We don't do.
Thank you, John. It's lovely to see you, darling,
Lovely to see you as
as
well,
always.
Mark. Well, as always, and to always see you too. Now, Mark, the last time we chatted, we left off with the little bit of info about me heading off to regions far away, and you
Yes.
started to say something about a radio show, and we had to end the show there and then. But you did a radio show coming live from Tokyo, I believe. Tell us all about it and who it was with.
Yeah, back in the 80s, Radio 1 did a live broadcast for a week from every lunchtime from 12 until 2 with John Peel and Janice Long, both of whom are sadly departed. And Janice was a good friend. She was absolutely lovely. John wasn't so keen on me. He was nice to my face, but he didn't like my music very much. And he said to me, I only play your records because I like your manager. And he had this bright yellow shirt on. And I said, I mean, they did this broadcast from a music shop. So by that, I mean a place that didn't just sell records, it sold every instrument under the sun, by which I mean every instrument. So I've never seen 4 floors of musical instruments. And the Japanese are amazing at reinventing. They don't invent a lot of their own instruments or their own brands, but they copy. So, a Japanese copy of a Fender Stratocaster will be almost as good as the original, if not better sometimes. And they had, yellow guitars and they had star-shaped guitars and crescent-shaped guitars in different colours. Thousands of drum kits. It was unreal. So we did this radio broadcast, and John had a bright yellow shirt on. And I said to him, "That's a bloody awful shirt, that." And he said, "My daughter bought me this." I had the hump with me forever after that. But it was quite astonishing because we broadcast it in this shop, and it just got rammed with people. Because wherever you go in Japan, they seem to have some kind of I don't know, extrasensory perception, and they know where you're going to be before you arrive there. So
Wow.
you have 8 cars. I mean, any band will tell you, a convoy of cars following you wherever you go. But when you get there, there's always like 1,000 fans already waiting for you. And you
Gosh.
go, well, how do they know? Now, I used to think the record company told them, but they'd say, no, why would we do that? Because it would take. I remember getting. I went 3 times in one year, which is quite unusual. A lot of bands only go once a year because it's expensive.
Yeah.
But I got my sort of my day schedule from them, and it said get into lift at 8:02 morning.
Very
Right?
precise.
Yes, get to lobby at 8:03 because it's a very big hotel. Leave lobby 8:26, and I'm like, well, why is it now? That's because you open the doors of the lift, and there's about 2,000 fans in there, all waiting for you. So it would take half an hour to get through the lobby, even with security.
Wow.
It was terrifying at times because I mean we got so many fans after us. There was almost traffic accidents because you cannot control. And as exciting as it is, after a couple of weeks of it, you start feeling like you're a beetle. You know, McCartney must have felt like.
I bet you do. And actually, I was just thinking, my I've got a few of the Japanese copies of guitars, which turned out to be fantastic guitars in their own right.
Yes,
I think that's Takamine, of course.
Takamine are amazing. They're best acoustics in the world, I think. They're
Yes,
incredible. Yeah.
absolutely. My favorite's my 12 string. It's
And of course, yeah, and the Yamaha drum kits, which are astonishing. And,
and the keyboards.
and the keyboards, yeah. I mean, the thing is that they're so inventive and very industrious. So the minute they sort of deliver one item, then get one product, then they make another one, even better. But I remember going to the Yamaha testing laboratory when they were. You'll know what this is, but for the listeners that don't, they were testing something called MIDI,
Yes.
which is musical interface device. So therefore, which basically means that you can connect one instrument to another instrument. I went into this Yamaha testing lab, and they had put sheets. They had 12 grand pianos, and they put sheets over them so we wouldn't know what they were. I know you're obviously midiing together 12 grand pianos. And they said, "How did you know?" I said, "Well, because it's shaped like a grand piano." They had little bits of tissue paper over. There are speakers in a studio called NS10s,
Right.
which
Yes.
are the speakers you listen back, and you'll know this again.
Yep.
Some of these say sort of esoteric, but these little speakers, they say when you listen back to a track, you listen on the small speakers before you put it on the big room speakers. um, and they had little bits of tissue paper over the tweeters. I asked them why they did that,
Was it
and
the
they said, "Oh,
vibration?
sorry."
Was it for the vibration to
Well,
see?
yeah, it's to take off the top end, but they said,
Oh, I
that,
can't
well,
hear you. Your sound has gone.
really? I'm here.
What?
No, I'm still here.
Oh, it's gone through a different system. Hang on a second. You're coming through the screen now instead of where I want you to come through. Just bear with me one
Yeah, of
moment.
course.
Ah, you see these gremlins, they're always here trying to catch us out.
Yes, they are, darling.
Okay, just bear with me a second. Let's see. Try again.
Hi there. Okay, how's that?
That's so much better. Coming through my
Wonderful.
headphones.
Where shall I go from? 'Cause I was waffling a bit there. Shall I go
No,
from?
you weren't. We were talking about the thin veil of paper that they put on the speakers on the
Yeah,
NS10s.
that's right. Yes, they had this little sheet of tissue paper stuck over the tweeters on the NS10s. And I said, "Why do you do that?" And they said, "Because Bob Clearmountain does it." That's the only reason.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bob Clearmountain's always done that just to take a little bit of the top end off the speakers. So that's how Bob does it. So they did it. I just thought that was brilliant. Great reasoning.
Well, do you know, I thought if it was while they were testing them after manufacture or something like that, maybe they were doing it. I don't know. Actually, no, why would they be doing that? But I was thinking, oh, maybe it was just to see how, how much top they could take before
Yes, exactly.
vibrating.
No, they just said works above Claremont. It must be the way to do it. So fine.
Ah, that's
But
fabulous.
I actually really I love being in Japan. I've really enjoyed being there over the years, and the audience is amazing. I wish you so much success and luck because you really deserve it, Dawn. And I know all
Thank
your
you.
listeners and all the artists that you've helped will join
Oh,
me in saying congratulations. Really,
thank you. Thank you so much, Mark. That's really kind of you.
pleasure, darling.
But you, right now, you are touring again. You're doing a show, aren't you, very shortly, this
I'm to
Saturday?
several, yeah. I'm playing at the 229 on Great Portland Street on Saturday, the 5th of July. And it's presented by Electronic Cafe, who are a podcast, two guys, Mark and Andy, who are obsessed with electronic music. Quite why they booked me, I don't know. But it's yeah, but it's at the 229. They're old Jericho fans, and they've interviewed me, and they came to see you at the same show that you came to in Islington. And they said, "Well, we've got to get you on the on the 229." So we're doing that, and it's lovely because all of the profit from the 229 goes to a student charity to create scholarships for students that can't afford their own education. So it's all for a really good cause, I think.
I love that. Well, so when you say their education, what sort of do you mean university students?
Yes, that's right. Yes, it's to create because the actual 229 is beneath. It's a nightclub or a live venue beneath the Great Portland Street. It's 229 Great Portland Street, London W1, and it's beneath the halls of residence. Uh,
Right.
and all the money goes into a student charity. The idea being to raise as much money as possible to give free education or to help towards scholarships for those that can't afford it. Because I just think it's something fundamentally wrong that people should have to pay for their education because this is the future of our world that we're investing in here. So, and I love it because our band was built a lot by students. You know, we had such
Yeah.
tremendous support. We played all the universities. We started playing the Nelson Mandela bars. We played the clubs as well, but we got a great reception from students. And then we went on and played the bigger halls in all the universities and colleges. And, you know, the students were kind of our audience. So it's really nice to think that we're giving a little bit back and trying to encourage people into higher education because I think it's so important that.
It's very important, especially if people want to do something that requires, a much more detailed study. For example, being
But,
doctors. Uh,
but like you do, something like you do, for
well,
instance.
not really, not necessarily, but yeah, you do need to have quite detailed knowledge of your technical side of things and
Yes,
how
of course you do.
to put
Yeah.
stuff together for sure. But I actually, I went to uni to study law
Did you really?
and ran away with the first boy I met.
That's right. It's quite a lot of people that study law and come out, they can't find jobs because there are more, you know, so many, not enough jobs with law. So people think, great, I study law, I'll have an education for life. You do, but you don't get to practice very much. But I just think it's important. It's just, I think it's also something that it gives you a great grounding in life. I never went to uni, but I wish I had. because I probably would have learnt a few more things than I actually
Oh,
know.
well, I think it's all horses for courses, really, because I ended up running away from it, not liking it at all. If somebody had said to me, "Oh, you can go there and do law or music or oh, sorry, art or music," I'd have been so happy. But
Yeah.
the fact it was all about doing law instead, no thanks. Horrible. But, having said that, ultimately, the number of people who say, "Oh, you'd have made a great barrister," because I don't
You
mind
would.
a really good debate or a really good argument, I'll give
Really?
it.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to take you on, Dawn. I think I'd lose hands down. But anyway, so we're doing Electronic Cafe 229 Great Portland Street on the 5th of July. Full band. It's our only full band electric show in London this whole year. It's the only
Really?
one, yeah. But we are, and then I'm doing Let's Rock Shrewsbury the following Saturday on the 12th, which will be great fun with Tony Hadley and your mate Holly Johnson. So that'll be great fun. Um, and then
We love all that, the whole Let's
yeah,
Rock
it's
thing.
great. They're great fun. I mean, there's some lovely bands, some great artists on, and it's one of those things that Toya's on, and I absolutely love Toya. Uh,
She's crazily energetic, isn't she?
I don't know where she gets it from, and she still looks as outlandish and beautiful
I know.
and just as unique as she did. I mean, I bought her records in the late 70s, and
Yeah.
she really was quite an inspiration for me because I just thought it was so different in music, you know. And she still looks the part. She's great.
Yes,
She still sing
indeed.
really, really well as well. She's got that operatic voice. So
Yeah, which is superb. And of course, it still works so well, doesn't it?
I know, yeah, it's quite annoying, really. I've had several gigs with her, and she's just the nicest person. She's,
Yes.
I mean, last time I did a show with her, we played Wembley together back a couple of years ago, and she came and knocked on my dressing room door, and I forget what it was she wanted, but she just knocked on the door, and I opened the door and said, "Yeah, yeah, sure," and just left her standing there, and then someone said, "You should invite her in," and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry," I was just so gobsmacked that one of my heroes was kind of standing at the door. I didn't even think to invite her in. I'm like, yeah, I'll be back in a minute. And I'm so sorry. And I said, look, it's not every day a rock icon's at your door. And she said, oh, I'm not an icon. It's like, no, you really are to her. She doesn't realize the impact she's had. And that, to me, makes her even nicer.
Well, I think that there are, I mean, obviously, as you know, I come across a lot of all of you who are icons to a whole variety of people. And to me as well, I go back to when I was in my teens and things, and I remember all of you lot out there doing your stuff. And so it feels really unusual when I'm interviewing yourself or Boy George or any one of the artists, Mr. Hadley himself, any one of the artists, because in some ways, while I've been doing this for lots of years and I know you all, at the same time, I can still put myself back into the day in the 80s when I was there enjoying all the music that you were producing, everything that you were
That's
coming up with.
lovely. Thank you. I mean, I know what you mean. It's kind of, I'm the same way with most of the bands that I've looked up to as well. And it's something that, it's good that it never leaves you, I think, really, because it's nice to have a little bit of, it's nice to be starstruck every now and again when you meet someone that you really like. I've been very lucky in my life, and as you have, I've met quite a lot of my heroes. It's just hard to know. You're very good at talking to people. Sometimes I find it very hard to know what to say to people, like Steve Harley, who I absolutely loved, and I saw him at Picture Express, and we sat together and had a chat. And it was like a silence for about a minute or so. And he said to me, "So you acted?" And I went, "Yeah, yeah, we're out and about." I couldn't know what to say to him because it's like, apart from saying, your music has influenced and inspired me so much, but it's so difficult because you don't want to say anything stupid. And I'm
Oh,
great at saying stupid things to people. Yeah,
see, I think that you have to throw that rag out of the window. Forget about all of that and just be you, whoever you're talking to, and just enjoy the person that you're having a chat with as though, so for example, if you and I were sitting around having a coffee together, we'd chat about all sorts of things. In fact, that you said something earlier, there's a question that I will ask you, but only once we've stopped doing the show this morning, because I'm
okay.
dying to know something.
Hmm.
But it's
Hmm.
indeed, but it's not something that we can actually, put out there. But yeah, it'll be, and there's something that I've got to say to you about, one of the artists. But oh no, we can't put it out there.
Well, we'll just have to get off there and get on with our chat, aren't we? I think I'll get the kettle on. Um,
Exactly.
Let me tell you some of what I'm doing. I'm also going to be playing. Going to be doing an Ultimate 80s weekend in Butlins on the 13th of September.
I tell you what, you didn't say the date of the Let's Rock. Is that around about
Sorry,
the
that's the
11th
12th. That's the
or
following
12th?
12th of July. So it's Electronic Cafe, 229 Great Portland Street, the Then Jericho full band on the Saturday the 5th of July. Then the 12th of July, I'm playing Let's Rock Shrewsbury, which will be great fun. Uh,
Now, is it Shrewsbury or Shrewsbury?
I don't know. I've always said Shrewsbury, but then you see, I was born in Derbyshire, and that's how they say it in Derbyshire. So I only lived there till I was about 4 or 5, and then up to Newcastle. But yeah, I've always said Shrewsbury. I
I
don't know.
don't
What do
know.
you say? You're posh, though. You see.
I don't know if it's Shrewsbury or Shrewsbury.
Let's do a poll, listeners. What
Okay,
is it?
listeners, how do you say it? Leave a little voice note on Messenger for me, on Facebook Messenger. That's a great way to do it. A little voice note of whether you say Shrewsbury, Shrewsbury, or Shrewsbury if you're from Scotland.
I see.
Well, Catherine
Um,
Gormley's from Scotland, and she might say Shrewsbury. I don't know. Anyway,
that's
yeah.
pretty good. That.
So,
And then after that, I'm doing on the 13th of September. I'm doing an Ultimate 80s weekender.
oh,
At
did we
Butlins
hang on? Did we get past the 12th of July?
yes, 12th of July.
And
Let's
then,
rock Shrewsbury. Then after that, about a month off to go and do some recording,
oh,
and then I'm
nice.
doing the 13th of September at Minehead, Butlins with the Ultimate 80s weekend, which are great fun. Again, very
How
much like Let's Rock.
how dare you?
Why?
Somerset, and I'll be
Yeah,
gone.
I
I'll
know.
have left the
I've
country.
waited till you left. I'm so now I'm so sorry. Um, but then we're back into London on the 20th of September for a Then Jericho acoustic show at Pizza Express Live, which will be great fun. So it's the 20th of September, Pizza Express Live, Then Jericho, it's just an acoustic duo. And then we're off to Spain on the 26th of September for the Visa Festival in Valencia. And that's going to be great because that's going to be with Ash and the Happy Mondays and Peter Hook and the Light and Echo Belly. It's going to be fantastic. I'm really excited about that. And the Lemonhead. So that's going to be a great one.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
going to be
Can you
fantastic.
imagine
And
supporting Happy Mondays? I mean, that's going to be. We're doing like an hour and a half set. So every band gets the same length. So we're not really a support act. But nonetheless, I'm still on earlier than the Happy Mondays. And I'm quite pleased because I don't think you can really follow the Happy Mondays somehow.
no,
I think
they're a
once they've
slightly
done their
crazy
thing, that's kind
act,
of it, isn't it? It's just the show's over, isn't it?
especially once Bez starts talking.
Yeah. I'll bet. I'll bet. I've never actually met them, so it's going to be really interesting to meet them.
Full
You know.
on fun is what I would say.
But I'm a massive fan of Ash as well. I think they're amazing. So
Yes.
that's going to be great. And Peter Hook and the Light. I love Peter Hook. I
And the
think he's brilliant.
Lemonheads, fantastic. I mean, it's all
Lemonheads,
there.
yeah, and Echo Belly. I mean, and again, lovely people. And then later on in the year, Dawn, in December, and maybe I'll speak to you before then. But if we
Oh, you
don't,
will.
okay, I'm doing a little mini tour in December. I'm doing the Old Woolen in Leeds on the 11th of December. Then I'm doing Leicester Academy, O2 Academy on the 12th, and then Oxford O2 Academy on the 19th of December. So it's going to be a busy little December.
That's going to be a really busy December, but it's great. I hope you've got plenty of merchandise for everyone to buy as well.
Well, the thing is, my flat is really small, so I only have a certain amount of room to store it in, and my storage unit's full. So I kind of have to sell it and then get some more in stock. Otherwise, I would do a whole range of things like I used to. I do have a web store, but it's based in Manchester. So what I've got to do is get it all sent up to Manchester. But it's just finding the time and finding the energy to actually get it all done. So I must get on the case. But at the moment, I've got some new t-shirts available on Saturday, so that should be good. But I just don't have the space to store it. It's crazy.
I know, I understand that.
You know
Do,
about that?
I
Yeah.
do. So you were saying that you're going to take a month off to do some recording.
Yes.
Are you writing new material?
Yeah, I've been writing for several years now. And I'm one of those people, funnily enough, during lockdown, I didn't write at all. I just kind of ground to a halt, which kind of it was weird. It was an odd break for me because I live where I live. There's older people next door, elderly people next door, and there's people with kids the other side. So I can't really make a lot of noise, and I haven't got a soundproofed area. And I am quite noisy when I write because I'm
Okay.
and I'm not a very good guitarist at all, or I'm a terror. I can't really play keyboards at all. So I can do it on computer badly. So what I write, I tend to sing the melody, and then try and find chords to go behind it. I'll pass it on to someone else and say, one of my collaborators, find some chords for that. But it's quite a noisy process. And
Okay.
I stopped during lockdown, and then I listened to it the other day, and I thought, actually, I've got some really good stuff. So most of it was actually written. I stopped writing about 3 years ago, and I haven't written anything since then. But I've listened to it, and I've got about 15 really good songs. So I'm going to go in and start putting them down. And the guys that are in Then Jericho, I'm going to be going in the band into the studio with the band and putting those ideas down and seeing what else we come up with. Really, but I think
Uh,
it's time now. It's been like 28 years since I released something, so I think it's time.
Definitely. I've got the revival chart. It's waiting just for you, Mark.
Thank you. I mean, I have released obviously compilations and I've released live albums,
Yep.
but I've released a studio album, so I think you're right. It is time, isn't it?
It really is. And which studio are you using to do your recordings? Do
I'm
you know
using a
yet?
mate's studio actually. He's got over towards Epsom. He's got his own studio, so I'm going to go there because to be honest, we haven't got the funding to go anywhere fancy.
Well,
And
because I got somebody else you should keep in mind as well. If you're thinking,
Steve Lillywhite.
well, Steve can give hints. We all, everybody gives their opinion within our. We have a little WhatsApp group, and we pass songs around each other and give opinions on. It's quite remarkable, really.
Oh, I
But
might join that. Thank you if you don't mind.
but but what might be an idea is Smiley Barnard, who is
Yeah.
in fact he's on tour with oh my goodness. Um,
Archive. Gene
no,
Loves
no, no.
Jezebel.
Well, it's often he's just finished a tour with Gene Loves Jezebel,
Yes, he
and
has.
next it's the Boomtown Rats. He's off next week with the Boomtown Rats.
Is he
Um,
really? He's brilliant. Yeah, he's fantastic as
he
Steve.
really is, but his studio is excellent. It's really, really good, and
He's actually best mates with our drummer Paul, so that would make sense. I love Steve. Yeah.
there you go. Well, in that case, I'll let him know and all get in touch or something because he's so good at putting together, tracks and just doing amazing music for
He'd
artists.
be
He's a
great,
great producer.
actually. Yeah, is he really? He's a lovely guy as well. I do like him an awful lot.
He is. He's a real sweetie, isn't he?
Yeah, he is lovely. Yeah, but we might be hopefully doing some shows with Gene Loves Jezebel and a couple of shows with Big Country. But we're just waiting for confirmation on dates. So I think the time is it'd be good to do some double headliners.
That would be great. I went to see Gene Loves Jezebel last week, and they were terrific as always. Really
They're
fantastic.
brilliant. Yeah, James Stevenson. We love James Stevenson. He's a god.
We do. We love
And
James
just Jay
Stevenson.
and
We love
Pete.
Jay
Yeah.
Aston as well. Yes, and
And
Pete.
Pete, yeah, they're what I love about them is that it's the original band, isn't it? Almost, I mean,
Yeah.
and they've got something unique. We did a show with them in Belgium a few years ago, about 3 years ago, um, and we got to Eurostar, and we almost missed the train because we were so busy mucking around and having a laugh. And then Jay said, "Mark, train's leaving." Well, oh yeah, because we hadn't seen each other for a couple of years. We hadn't seen each other for years actually, but we always kind of get on really well. So it's nice to tour with bands or to do gigs with bands that you really like as people as well. It makes it so much easier.
Now, Sue Sullivan wants you to know that she will be at the 229 on Saturday to see you.
I love Sue's great. Sue goes to about 4 gigs a week.
I
I don't know how
know.
she does it. She's amazing.
I know. I can't see yet whether or not Kathy Simpson's going to be joining as well, but she possibly is. She often flies down from or drives down from Edinburgh and comes as well. So
She's
we'll
great.
see.
Yeah, I'm really lucky. They're lovely people, and thanks. That's great to know. I'm really lucky in that I've got people that follow us all over the place. So there'll be a few surprises in this show. We're playing a few songs, a couple of songs that I haven't played. One that I haven't played live since 1987.
Why
And
not? Why haven't you played?
because there's just I tell you what it is. I'll tell you this, Dawn. I've got my all my own solo stuff, and then I've got my Jericho stuff, and I've got stuff I released only on a couple of live albums. I'm one of these people that does odd things, like does a live album and puts new material on it that's never been released before. which is kind of either negates the audience that are buying it because they want to hear your live version of
Yeah,
the songs they know, and also means you don't get to put them on, you don't record them in the studio first. But I like it because it gives you an edge. It means when you play something new, it has to be on the money. This
absolutely.
is being recorded live for the first time.
Yeah,
Uh, and I've had a couple of songs I've recorded that way that I don't think I could record better in a studio anyway.
right.
Because you bring that extra element to a live performance because you're in front of a crowd. But there's
Yes,
one song.
there's that bit of adrenaline, isn't it? That's the
That's
driver,
right.
and you can't screw up because you are there in front of your
That's
audience.
the one. You can't go, let's drop me back in for that, but yeah. And thing is that, but also because what it is, I get such demand for people to play the singles and play particular tracks from the albums that some of the tracks just get left out, and you get into a habit where you play the songs that work. So I
Yeah,
said, now let's do a couple of songs we haven't done for a long time, or so it's going to be really interesting actually to see how they go down. I know that they're good songs, and I know people like them. They just kind of got lost left by the wayside, and then I played them the other day and went, and they're good songs, and they're both rockers, so that's good. So I think
fantastic.
doing something different would be nice.
Well, I wish I was able to be there on
I
Saturday,
know, I'm gonna miss you, Dawn.
but I can't, unfortunately. I've got stuff going on and I've got to be somewhere early on Sunday morning. But as soon as I can come and see you before I go away, if that is possible, what have you got? You've got the Let's
Let's
Rock on
rock.
the 12th of July in Shrewsbury or Shrewsbury.
Shrewsbury, one of the two. Yes.
And if I can get to that, I will. And after that, of course, I'll be gone.
You'd be gone. We're gonna miss you.
No, listen, I'm still here. I'm still on the end of the phone. I'm still doing my radio shows every day.
Fantastic. I'm so pleased for you. It's great. And it's going
Thank
to
you
be,
so much.
but
Okay.
you're going to be so busy. You're going to be a very, very busy lady.
Bi
Not like you are now, of course.
busy is good. Busy is fun. Busy keeps your brain active and it just,
Yeah, it's very true. It's
keeps
true.
you going, doesn't it? Well,
Fantastic.
Mark, it's been so lovely having you on the show. And
Very much indeed, Dawn.
one thing we need to tell listeners, though, please, is where they can get tickets from. So, listeners, if you're able to make it to 229 Great Portland Street on Saturday, the 5th of July, that's this Saturday, or Let's Rock, 12th of July, Shrewsbury or Shrewsbury, or in fact, 13th of September, Buckland's Minehead, 20th September, Pizza Hut.
Pizza Express.
I knew
Pizza
that, Pizza
Express Live,
Express.
yeah.
Definitely not the Pizza Hut.
Pizza Express Live is a proper gig with a proper stage. Pizza Hut just a pizza restaurant.
Yeah, I knew that. Getting all carried away. It's too
I
early
know
in the
you are,
morning
love.
for us.
You're doing your best. You're doing your best.
Oh dear. But yes, so
Tickets, okay. For
tick
229, go to Dice FM because we like Dice because Dice there is no secondary ticketing, no touting at all.
okay, so that's Dice
Tickets only 25.50 from Dice FM.
Dice FM. What's the full website for that? Do we know?
Just www.dicefm. I don't know.
Dot
It's pretty
or
well known.
dot FM.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Dice.
pretty well known ticket site, so that's pretty good. And then for Pizza Express, go to the Pizza Express live website. That's the only place you can buy them. Let's Rock, go to the letsrock.com.
Website.
Yeah, website, exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. And as the same for the Butlins one, go to Butlins website. With all of these places, they tend to have their own websites, but Dice FM is for the 229 show. And I
Okay.
do like the fact that there's no secondary ticketing because I just think it means that people only pay a certain amount and they don't have to pay through the
Again.
American.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. Listeners, if you want to, please go and have a look online and go and see Mark. And when you do go, ladies, especially the ladies that listen to this show and are tuned in right now, and Sue Sullivan being one of them. Sue Sullivan, please make sure that you take footage and photos so that we can pop them up on the website or on social media on Monday morning.
Thank you, Joel. And if you want any information from us about anything, just go to Mark Shaw, then Jericho on Facebook or thenjericho.com, the website.
ThenJericho.com. Okay. Well, Mark, lots of love.
God bless you. You too, Dawn.
Have a
Love you,
wonderful,
Tony.
wonderful weekend because we've got Jukebox Judgment tomorrow.
Wow, busy
Yes.
until you go. God bless.
Well, no, Jukebox Judgment, it's Steve Lillywhite will be there. They'll all be there, all the
Living
guys.
my best.
I will
Doing
do.
Tell him to produce me. I'm going to stay on his case until he gives in.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm sure that he would be quite happy to tell you what might need tweaking once you've done your recordings.
That would be great. That would be lovely if you wouldn't mind. He's lovely.
I don't mind at all, and I'm sure he won't mind either. Anyway, Mark, lots
God
of
bless
love,
you, Dawn.
Mark.
Thank you. Sayonara.
Sayonara.
God bless, Dawn. Thank you.
Bye.
See you.